the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of it, Yahweh. And this is a news article just came out from Forbes.com. And this is published by Derek Saul of Forbes staff. This is September 16th, 2022 at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is the highlight of this news article, and it reads from Forbes.com for in the news on September 16th, 2022. And on this Thursday afternoon at 4:40 p.m. And it reads, the Dow Jones went down negative 100 points, which is really 132. I seen the statistics about an hour ago. As Rattled investors close worst week since June, which is June 17th of 2022. About like three and a half months ago, because this is September now. And it says the stock market they dismal week with a slight Friday dip. It says driving with a gloomy and outlook from the FedEx as investors remains spooked about inflation's data and rate hike expectations. Key facts. It says the Dow Jones Industrial fell about 0.45% to 140%, recovering from a 400-point morning drop thanks to the late rally, while the S&P 500 dips to 0.68%. And Salakia for some noise in the background. This is and the tech-heavy NAS deposit dropped 0.88%. It says the Dow Jones closed at a 2-month low and fell more than 13,000 points this week, or 4.2% in the index worst week since the first week of June. And it says the tumble was largely thanks to the Federal X, which fell 21.4% to $162.02 after the company missed profits and sales estimate withdraw the full-year forecast thanks to the damping demand. The FedEx shares are down nearly 50% from May 2021 high of $314.81 as the FedEx drops the trickle over the competitors with UPS and XPO Logistics shares of down 4.7%. It says the drop this year largely came Tuesday with the Dow Jones and S&P 500 of the NASDAQ all suffered the worst days since 2022. After the Labor Department red hot in August, the inflation reports. It said this is the 6th straight week with that the S&P 500 has moved about more than 1%, the second largest such streak in at least 70 years. It says, according to the debt investment group, the longest such stretch occurred from March 2020 to May of 2020, which is 2 years ago. It says when the index moved more than 1% for the 10-year straight during the early days of the Cold War 19, if you know what I mean. It says the key background in its quarterly earnings report after Thursday's market close. A FedEx announced a significant close cuttings measures in the response to the lag global shipping volumes and causing poor macroeconomic conditions asked by the CNBC if sees its company's stagnation as a sign of global recession. A federal FedEx CEO Rajan Sambarma, if I pronounce his name right. It says that I think so, explaining the numbers don't portend very well. It says the crucial quote, Epic Austin Kornesk, a senior analyst of the Swiss quote, told Bloomberg the FedEx warning came as they slap is a solid sign that the economy is starting to slump. Contra, which is Edward Mona, a senior market analyst at the Ordania, and indicated in a note that clinics that are market may be overreacting at the FedEx guidance. Right, FedEx might have a couple of tough quarters heading of it, but it should not be the story that indicates the doom and gloom that our times are here to stay. It says what to watch for. Analysts increasingly sees a 100 base point rate hike from the Federal Reserve as a possible. The Fed hasn't risen the rates by that much in much more than 40 years, as an S&P 500 fell more than an average of 2.4% more 1 month after the Fed's 100 base points rate hikes between 1978 and 1981, according to the CFRA research. So yeah, as you see, the markets crash once again, just like it did yesterday. 2 days ago, it had its little solid gain, and then it crashed for the second straight time. So this is a 2-day streak of it, and then this is probably like the worst. This is the worst day averages of worst losses since the month of June 17th of 2022. So that shows you more increase of signs of modern day Babylon is falling. You know, with the inflation, as they continue to find ways to ease the inflation, continuing the consumer spending continue growing, continue to increase, even though oil production's inflation came down a little bit, but it's still going to increase more as we see other times progresses, you know, because it's going to continue to increase and rise more than ever. And as the Federal Reserves, you know, they said they might sacrifice of the economy as well too, as the economy still slowly slow growth, you know, because the economy is not so good with the housing market, the mortgages, and all that, etc. So that shows you once again a clear sign that modern day Babylon is definitely falling. Like the scripture says, modern day Babylon is falling, and it's falling, you know. Just like ancient Babylon fall, and now this modern day spiritually Babylon is falling. And as we see it on an everyday basis right before our eyes, slowly but surely. You know, like they like a whole saying, but slowly but surely it will come. You know. So yeah, hey, showing more signs of that, especially on an economic sense, that modern day Babylon is falling. You know, just like that the paper dollar of the digital currency, which is recorded in Revelations 13 and verse 16 through verse 17, all the way into verse 18. Hey, that's that dollar paper that's going to be no more value as well too. That paper dollar is going to crash as well too, because it ain't going to be no more value. You know, the value of the dollar, it's, you know, still has some value to it, but it's not going to be no more value to it, you know. Now, as far as the market's concerned, you know, the market is going to continue to have that up and down balance slope. But you know, the markets, it runs off of reacts of what's going on globally, especially like with the inflation, you know, with oil production, gas production, consumer spending, you know, so it really goes off of that, the reaction of the Wall Street, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. You know, I guess a new report came in Friday, early around like 10 or 12 o'clock this morning, and it still continue to show that the inflation is still consistently going up, and it's going to increase more and more, even though it kind of slipped a little bit, along with the gas prices and the oil production as well, kind of slipped a little bit. But those things are continuing to go up, and the economy is going to continue at a standstill, even if you might have a low unemployment rate, even though you might be gaining more jobs and stuff like that. But hey, you still got everything consistently going up, with the consumer spending, because consumer spending been the highest since a very long time, but it's definitely gonna increase more and more and more as we see the signs progresses on, and as we see right here, the Dow Jones fell 100 points as rattling investors, closing as the worst week since the June of 17th of 2022. This been the worst overall week so far of this current week in the month of June 17th, 2022. But it's going to increase more and more and more. The consumer spending is going to continue to increase. Not only is this going to affect over here in North America, but globally as well too. Because you're going to have continuing consumer spending, continuing consumer spending, continuing of inflations throughout the roof, and oil productions as gas prices continue to go, so everything's going to consistently goes up, and these are the signs and terms that we are living in of these things is about to increase, Matthews 24:8, these are the beginning of sorrows for what's upcoming things about to come to take place on this planet Earth, definitely from an economic standpoint, So yeah, as that MOTB comes into the full effect, that digital currency is coming very soon as well too. So now, far as the markets, the Dow Jones and everything like that, it's gonna be a up and down continuing slope, as it shows it all the time, Now there's gonna be times when they're gonna have like a certain economic gains or stock market gains, and business owners and CEOs that invest in these stocks and bonds. Now there's gonna be times they might have some good gain, but there's gonna be times where that the markets is gonna consistently crash, and it's gonna consistently crash because it's an up and down slope. Because as I mentioned before, sometimes the markets it reacts to what's going on, the economy globally and economically as well too, financially. So the markets really react to what's going on in the world, especially financially. If the markets hear of a reaction of inflation consistently goes up, I let you know that the market is going to crash, and that's kind of mess investors in their shares and stocks and bonds as well too. That kind of affect them as well too. Not only it affects the economy as well too, and a lot of times the markets, the Dow Jones and the markets and Wall Street feed off the economy as well too. Because the money being spent in the economy as well too. So these things are definitely going to increase of the far as the Dow Jones and S&Ps and Nasdaq and 500 is going to definitely continue to deteriorate, as the Federal Reserve continues to raise the interest rates. The federal interest rates continue to find ways to ease the inflation, which I highly doubt, because the inflation is going to continue. The cost of living is going to continue. Everything is going to continue to be expensive and very high, and the economy is going to continue to slip. The stock market is going to continue to crash, even though it's going to have a balanced scale slope, up and down slope. Times where they might have good gains, then a lot of times they're going to have bad gains, because the stocks and markets, it reacts to what's going on globally, financially, and economically as well too. So, like for an example, if a gas price is increasing, the oil production is increasing, that means the stocks might crash and have terrible losses and gains. Then it's going to have one times where inflation drops, gas drops, economy steady, at a steady pace, and all that, and it reacts to that in a positive note, and then it have like bad news globally, financially, if it in the terms of that. So the stocks and bonds, it really reacts of what's really going on economically, globally as well too, economically and financially. So with that, I hope this outside sit-down lesson is edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I would like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, or Karkadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great wisdom, which was word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preach the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. That be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And before I close out this lesson, this outside sit-down lesson for today on September the 16th, 2022 at 5:47 p.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah, like it's mentioned again, Babylon is definitely continuing to fall, slowly but surely, especially from an economic scale, as you continue to see the Dow Jones fail once again for the second straight time. As it had 2 days ago, they had a little solid gain, and then it fell 2 days later. It fell once again, and it crashed. So it shows you more and more signs of modern day Babylon is falling economically, and this cycle trend is going to continue. So with that, I would say shalom and a ball.